I read an article the other day on landscape photography, and it listed a number of things in order to do to get the right photograph, and it talked about the importance of getting right exposure, also the importance of pin sharp images, and of course the rule of thirds and composition. Let me ask you one thing. If I was positioned in the middle of the frame, would it evoke an emotion? Would it lead you to ask the question of why is he positioning himself at the bottom left hand side of the frame? Well, that's exactly what good photography is about. It's triggering that response. We don't always have to follow the rules. Let me just check them in focus. Good morning. I'm back in the Lake District. That behind me is Causey Pike, and that's my first fell of the day. I found a tree. I tried to take something different, not quite found that yet. It took a little bit of effort, bearing in mind I've been in the Lake District for well over a good month, so I had to do a bit of trekking, took a bit of energy away. I fired off a few frames, I've got some nice heather growing, and so be it. Now on this trip I'm not going to guarantee I'm going to come away with something completely different, an out of focus, blurred photograph for instance, but I've noticed, especially in the street photography, the urban side of things, and going back into a bit of history, that the photographers who stand out for me are the ones that do things different. And that's what's important today. There's far too much of samey stuff, especially on YouTube, is what I find today. Another question, why am I wearing shades? Well, I want to look cooler than what I usually do. But there's another reason. I've recently had eye surgery, hence the reason why I haven't travelled far, and hence the reason why I'm wearing the shades. I'm alright now. Photography for me should not be about ticking boxes. It's time to move on from the constant message and ask yourself if you are still pleased with how you make your images and the images themselves. We need to experiment, push the boundaries and question what is being taught. Remember the fundamentals of good use of light, interesting subjects, and the creation of something that makes you ask a question. It's a beautiful day. The sun is out, as you can probably tell. Oh, that's nice. So I've just seen that tree now. And that's that tree. Some nice starlight on there. And a bit of contrast against the shadow on the fell. Worthy of a shot. And why not? Now, the plan today, Causey Pike is the first fell, then head across the ridge to Scar Crags, then up to Sale, and we'll see where we are. Right, I'm going to tap this before it's too late, before the sun dips behind the cloud. So yeah, nothing different as yet, but you can still follow the traditional method. I say traditional, getting things in focus and sharp. Recently I've been interested in photography of subjects which are not sharp, in focus, but still get the message across. I bet there's not many videos out there that advise you to shoot out of focus images. So that's the technical part of the walk done. That's the top of Causey Pike. A little bit of a scramble, not much. But yeah, that's sat the energy a little bit. In terms of photography, I'm trying something different. No real subject standing out to have an attempt at the out of focus, and to be honest, I'm going to be pretty limited today. What you need and where it works best is if it's a distinctive element, something you recognise, i.e. a tree. I have, however, used the light and the models on show, which are the sheep. Just played around with different framing techniques. And the views, excellent. Look at that line there. Just beyond that, you've got Sale. That takes you up to Crag Hill, nice bit of hill fog, low cloud shrouding that. Nice frame that, nice frame. Blessed with views, of course. My eyes are slowly getting accustomed to the light. Slowly. I just want to continue looking cool, so I'll put them back on. Basically, I've had surgery to remove a cataract, and also improve my long distance eyesight. And I tell you what, it's so good to see the distant mountains or the light flashing. That was brilliant. Still got to wear the old glasses for the close-up, reading and messing about with the camera. But hey ho, that's what happens when you reach a certain age. Anyway, back to pin sharp images. The article mentions that it's a necessity to nail the focus and come away with a pin sharp image from front to back. I don't agree. I respect people who think that, but personally I don't agree. Yes, it's okay for those who want to shoot or a calendar sort of shot, but I think, and especially from a beginner's point of view, it's like it's programmed, and you need to step away from that. Yeah, learn the basics, but just step away with that. I prefer my natural fall off, and also playing around with shallow depth of field as well. I did play around with some branches, twigs of the heather just before Causey Pike, and I framed the twigs leading slightly to a diagonal, filling the bottom part of the frame, and Causey Pike in the middle. Played around with it, but Causey Pike's out of focus. It's all about the choice of process as well. I like to process my images in black and white, so it gives that separation from the norm as well. Now, I also mentioned the importance of doing a bit of research of the location to plan. If you've turned up to a location which you didn't really know anything about and just use that magic black box you call a camera, just take whatever you see, whatever takes your fancy. Try it. The art of photography. It's quite good fun. It's not all about following what you've been told. Just experiment. I haven't really had a chance to experiment, to be honest, today. But I keep looking behind. You see that there? That's the distinctive path which leads you up to Sale. The first time I was here, when I was clearly a lot more immature, I did do a little bit of a clip. Just not funny at all. Photography for me is more about the process itself. I tend to enjoy how I go about my photography than the actual end product, the end product being the photograph itself. I understand why film photography is still popular, because it's so much process involved, something I don't know, so I'm not going to even attempt to go into that, but I respect those who still shoot with film. I've been digital since I got interested in photography, and that's what I'll stick to be honest. That's what I prefer. I want to see my images there and then. Lovely light, then up to Grisdale, Hope Gill Head, Whiteside. In fact, I'm going to shoot that. So I'm going to make my way down the valley, then up to Hard Crags, and probably along to Knot Rig. I've just taken a shot of Wand Up using manual focus, intentionally out of focus. It has that distinctive edge. Might work, might not. Probably process it in black and white. I'll show you the focused image and then the out of focus image. Does it evoke an emotion? Does it make you think? Hopefully you understand where I'm going with this. You can try all sorts of methods as well. Slow shutter speed, which is something I'm experimenting with on my urban street stuff. Where am I going? I haven't got a clue. I'm going down there. Yes, I'm experimenting with that. Even a bit of IC, and no, I'm not doing IC. No, I didn't say that. What my message here is, photography is all about making you think, making you take another look at things and try to process it. Doesn't always work, but as I said before, it's the process which is enjoyable, more so often than the end product. It's a different day, it's a different area in the Lake District. I'm currently on the top of Dord, which is a small fell in the northern area of the Lake District. Today I'm with my little lad, so we're enjoying ourselves. It's a bit blustery. Now I've brought just the one lens with me today, just a 35mm. Another thing which you often read or hear is the importance to bring the full wide range of focal lengths, ranging from 14 up to 400. Yeah, it's a benefit, but it can also give you more options, more things to think about. If you restrict yourself to one lens, in my case 35mm prime, it just makes you limit yourself to certain scenarios, compositions, and work on those as well. I tell you what, we've got some wonderful clouds going on, so I'm going to play around using a few of these ferns, clouds as well. Let me just show you that. Wonderful stuff. So don't restrict yourself. It's not all about do this, do that, tick in a box. Photography is all about enjoying yourself and experimenting. That's the message of the day. Till next time, bye bye for now.